He's been in Toastmasters for about 24 years and is a member currently of Simply Speaking as well as the Advanced Club Excelsior Toastmasters. Tonight, Jim will be giving us his keynote speech called The 4 Questions to Supercharge Your Life. This is a motivational speech. Please help me welcome Jim Roth.
It was an October Tuesday. I could see the bright sun across the room outside of my second grade classroom. Miss Reed was probably a year out of college and was very new and very beautiful. And even the most important part, she was single. I would do anything for her. I would do the erasers. I'd walk her to her car. Anything. But on this day, we had a quiz. Class, take out a piece of paper and write out the equation for the escape velocity needed for a spaceship. No, that really wasn't the question. But it might as well have been, because I didn't have a clue on what she was asking. I stared at the paper and thought and thought and thought. I had my name on it, and she said, "Time's up." And I handed in my blank paper, except for my name. The next day, I got my blank paper back, except for my name, and now a big red F on it. That Friday, my mom and dad sat me down and said, "We have been speaking with Miss Reed and with the principal, and on Monday you're going to go back to Mrs. Parsons' first grade class." It was a rough weekend. On Monday, I went in, got settled in. We had reading group, and that's where the teacher would hold up the cards with the words that I would read her. And I knew every one of them. Later on, my teacher, Ms. Parsons, told my mother, "I don't understand, he knows all the vocabulary, why can't he read?" I don't know. I was his first grader. I don't know what that is. This is much harder than I thought it was. Excuse me a minute here. Remember when we were in 4th and 5th grade, we learned about parentheses? If we use the parentheses in math, we put it around these numbers, and if we focused on those numbers, that is when we got the correct answer. Everything made sense of all those numbers on the page. And then I realized the problem I was having in school was I did not know where to focus. I didn't know where to put those parentheses in my life. I would be distracted by this and that and everything else, and it was very difficult to get through school. I did manage to graduate from first grade for the second time, and second grade, and high school. I got a bachelor's degree in biology from Eastern Michigan University. I got a master's in biblical studies from Louisville Presbyterian Theological Seminary. But things didn't seem to be quite right. I was teaching gymnastics at the time, and my marriage was falling apart. Now, if you know anything about teaching gymnastics, the only time you can work is when the kids are out of school. So I would not be able to see my boys, and so I looked around for something else. And I decided on physical therapy assistant. So I went to Kirkwood Community College and went through the whole program, and had completed the second internship. I went was walking in doing something, and one of my teachers called me over and said, "We're not going to let you graduate." What do you mean you're not going to let me graduate? I know where to put those parentheses. I have a 3.5 grade average. You told me, this is what you told me I needed to focus on. I was able to graduate. I should be able to graduate. I know everything you told me I needed to know. A couple of days later, they came back with a document that said, "We'll let you graduate, but we're not going to be responsible for you losing your job. Don't hold us accountable." Unfortunately, they were about half right. I would go into a job and then everybody would say, "Oh, you're so brilliant, you should go to PT school. We're going to have to let you go because your notes are just terrible." I couldn't focus on the notes. I would start writing, these are all handwritten notes at the time. So I'd start writing a note and about halfway through the sentence, and that isn't what I wanted to say. I wanted to say something else. Now, in the medical field, the notes are how you get paid. If they don't like the note, you don't get paid. And they were copying stuff off and trying to get everything to work out. Technically, the same stuff that I said I was good at in the college, I was very good at. But I could not focus to complete. I would do well for about 3 weeks, and then the quality would go down, down, and down. About 7 years after I was at Kirkwood, I went to vocational rehabilitation. They diagnosed me with attention deficit disorder. And they gave me some strategies that would begin to really affect my life. One was to use a computer to write my notes. Now the thing about a computer, or let's go back to the handwriting, as soon as you put your pen on the paper, that's a legal document. The nice thing about the computer is it's not a legal document until you hit save. So I could check my focus. I could say it any way I wanted and check my focus to be able to bring it around what I want to say. And it was remarkable. The number of denials that they had to send out. And of course, at that time, they had to copy off everything. So that went down, and my quality went up, and everybody was happy. Several years later, after working with this, I began to notice that I asked 4 questions before I saved my note. But I was also asking those 4 questions in life. So I would be going along and there would be this incident. And I'd ask these questions. Take a moment and put your hands up like this. There we go. All right. Now take an incident, whether it's at work or at school or with family or friends, and just hold that in there. You got a beginning and an end. Now you can put your hands down, but keep that in mind. And we're going to go through the 4 questions I asked before I say the note and see how that works. The first one, because in physical therapy, a note is a legal document. The first question, is it true? This is not the time to practice your creative writing. This is it true? Because if it's not true, I'm liable to go to jail. What happens though when we look at that focus, that area of focus that you just thought of? Is it true? Is what actually happened what you're saying it is? It's not where Rich is in his medieval armor going out to save his daughter from the evil boyfriend. It's We got to be concise. I did this, I did that, I did this. Is it true? That's the first question that we need to ask. The second question, in therapy, I would say, is it skilled? Now, what does is it skilled mean? In the medical field, nurses do this. Activity aides do this. Nursing assistants do this. Therapists do this. And by God, you better not get in the way of any of the other ones. Is it skilled? So we ask two questions. Is this worthy of using my talent and my training and my skills to make this person better? Is this something that I can do that nurses can't do, CNAs can't do, activity assistants can't do? Think about the area you just focused on. Is it skilled? What are you bringing to the table in this incident? The one I think about most often is being a grandfather. Now, I'm pretty skilled at being a father. I had two boys. But as a grandparent, I need to relook at what my responsibility is. It skilled? I'm skilled as a grandparent now, not as a father. Look at your situation that you're focusing on. What do you bring? What is your ultimate value proposition, unique value proposition? Is that what you're able to bring to it? The third question is, does it match the goals? In therapy, because I'm an assistant, which is a junior college degree, and not a doctorate degree as a physical therapist, the therapists write the goals, they give me the paper and say, go fix them. These are what we do. So I refer back to the goals time and again. Are we getting to the point where they need to be? Sometimes I need to go and say to the therapist, they ain't gonna make it this far. Sometimes I say, oh, they made that on the first day. We need to have these goals. Okay, go ahead. But when you look at that area that you're focused on, what are your goals? Where are you going to go with this? Are they moving you forward? Are you falling behind? Where are the goals that you're trying to get to? The fourth question that I ask is, what did I miss? In therapy, this is when I start planning my next treatment. Maybe as I'm going through, I would say, you know, now that I think about it, that muscle there is weak, and that's why their hip keeps dropping. And every time they pick that foot up, the weak muscle goes, oh, you're making me work again. I also have an attention deficit disorder, which means I ask that question an awful lot. What did I miss? And this allows me to reflect on how I can meet my goals, but also where I'm having troubles, where I need to move forward, what I need to be doing to move ahead. So, thinking about this, we have the parentheses where we have our goals, our focus. We put our focus in there. We pay attention to that. And that allows us to get rid of the other extraneous information and provides us a sense of security and a way forward. When we ask the questions, did it really happen? We now know, we're now looking at the reality of it. The second question, is it skilled? What is the value that you bring to that as the position that you're in, as a friend, as a father, a mother, a grandparent, and me, an aunt, an uncle? What are those things that you bring forward? Does it meet your goals? Are you moving toward your goals? Are you moving away from your goals? sometimes when I write down goals, I know that I seem to have goals that go in one direction, and the unstated goals that go in another. I always find that I'm really working on the unstated goals rather than the stated goals. So maybe something to think about this December before you take Linda Ray's class on storyboarding. And the other one is, what did you miss? When we look at what we missed, that allows us to grow and improve into the direction that we're looking to move toward. So remember where your parentheses of focus is, and ask the 4 questions to supercharge your life.